We're the American Red Devils, and we are capping Manchester United's 1-0 loss to Wolves in the league. United lose again, and United did not play that bad in the first place. Frustrating from United, but we still can't score goals. We lose again. We are not being relegated, which is one good thing, but how do we carry in any kind of momentum to keeping this Europa League tie going when we're losing games in the league against a team that was fighting relegation a couple months ago, while still outplaying them, I think, for most of this game? How are we feeling, sir, after another loss in the EPL? We can't even get things right when we're doing things right on the pitch. We can't score. What's going on?
Look, Amorim slated the lads in the press conference. He came out and said, hey, we got to go with what we got until the end of the season. Maybe we'll fix it. He's pretty honest, maybe a little too honest in the pressers. But what I saw today was a lot of rotation from him. We had Tyler Fredrickson get his debut. Shout out to him. Harry and Moss had a solid performance, not necessarily a debut, but where's he been all season? Glad he finally featured and gets to start some matches. And United actually looked half decent in the first half. I think we created more than Wolves. We were taking it to them, but that last pass, that final product, putting the ball in the goddamn net, Hojlund obviously being a primary issue there. I felt like the service was good. He's not making the right runs. He's not sniffing the danger in the box. I feel like he's a poacher. That's where he should excel. The Garnacho pass, he was a little late there, but he's also out of form and he's young. So should we completely write him off? After this year, the stats are pretty bad. Some people will say we should, but we paid a lot of money for him. And, that's the age-old rule at Manchester United, overpay for bad players. Yeah, buy high, sell low.
That's it. That's what we do here. You want to kill the lad. You feel bad for him. He is a youngster, but at the end of the day, he is relied upon as a £74 million signing. He's not acting like one, but the runs he made today, he's got to be gotten the end of those goals. So that was an easy one, the Garnacho one, but even some nice balls in from Dogu, who looked quite good, playing right wing back today with Amos on the left. He was putting some good curlers in, like where the runs and the jumps looked like I had no idea how those two would align. So a frustrating day because I thought United controlled the game well. Wolves weren't really in it. They got a good free kick, dangerous position, like towards the end of the game. It was a great free kick, curler. But at the end of the day, like Bruno had a good chance, Mount had a good chance, and United, even when they're doing things right, when they're controlling possession, when they're managing minutes, not letting their team like get in behind them again and again and again, we still can't get the goal. So it just feels like one of those seasons, and if that's how, that's the price we got to pay for Europa League glory, I'll take it. But there's always going to be a come down versus Thursday, but it's especially frustrating when, I don't think we deserve to lose this game by any means.
No, and look, I've seen a lot of shit football in the last 2 years at Manchester United, sir. Some may say too much. Some may say it's bad for your health. But what I saw against Wolves was fresh rotation from the players. I thought the attack was clicking. I thought the system was working against Wolves. For the first time, I really saw this Amorim system working. Even with Fredrickson, the youngster in the 11, which is a huge sign that he, like heaven coming up, is a great boost for our injured defense. But today was one of those days where I actually thought we played well and we were hard done by the result. Now, we should have gotten a goal. I mean, that should have been a bad draw, a rough draw. Right. You add a loss, it's like salt in the wound. You look at the table, salt in the wound. But the good news is we can't get relegated. Ipswich lost. When you're shit, you can rely on other teams to be shittier. And so that's everything in the league went our way. Now it's all about Europa League. And I feel like the manager almost needs to rotate like a little more. As much as fans in the Stretford End deserve to see a win, probably should have seen a win. The Amorim did say it right. Like, we're not going to fix the goal scoring issues until the summer. I think that's what he's alluding to primarily, that as well as upgrading the wing back play. So really it's about surviving in the league, resting critical players for Europa League. We do have a tough task in Bilbao. And in the league, we lose to Wolves. I'm not worried. If we win Europa League, everything will be all right.
Everything will be all right. The road to Bilbao goes through Bilbao. That's going to be a little confusing in the run-up. The real thing is, where do you find that happy medium between rotation and not rotating, right? Because this week, we've got a nice light week. We've got a game a week. But then first leg is right after that, because you want to have some tune-up. You don't want players completely fall out of form. So it's going to be a very interesting balance for the manager to find himself in. At the same time, like you said, Hojlund's completely out of form. Can't seem to hit the broadside of a barn. Even that one that was perfectly suited for him, the Garnacho cutback, where it's all you have to do is be there, far post. We've seen that so many times this season. So many times where he's not making the run. If he does make the run, he falls down. you're not doing yourself any favors. Those are the easy ones. Those are the goals number 9's got to be gobbling up, because that's all about like mental positioning and being in the right place at the right time, which he has not shown enough this season. So, I thought
those
Cheeto came in.
You
need those. You need 5 of those a season.
That's
a tap-in. That should be a tap-in. And tap-ins, good players find themselves in positions to get a lot of tap-ins for some reason, because they know where to be all the time.
No, if you look at his game, is he good at hold up? No. Is he good at playing the wingers in behind? No. Is he good at link up? No. Does he come deep? No. Does he make good runs? No. So what does he do? He's a poacher in the box. You got to pass it to him on a plate. And if you can't score those, you're looking at him and being like, is he going to be here next year, sir? I think he will be, given the money and the wages that we paid for him. And you'd think he couldn't do worse. And the fact that he is a young and he is a sophomore slump, let's hope that this is it for Hojlund, or we ship him in some sort of creative, pay-to-play deal, swap deal with Napoli that everyone always talks about, that never happens. So most likely he'll be on loan somewhere where we'll be paying his wages, and he'll play amazing. If I know this club, that's what we'll do. Quick PSA for the podcast. If you like the American Red Devils, check us out on YouTube, American Red Devils. Search it up. Like, subscribe, comment below. Help the channel. Help us get found by other Muppets like yourself. Goes a long way. And if you want to go the extra mile, please support the podcast on Patreon, patreon.com/American Devils. We have tons of extra benefits. If you sign up, we have over 100 Patreon members going strong. Check it out. Also, check out our store, americanrevels.store. We got hats, we got shirts, we got stickers, we got beanies, we got everything you need to support the greatest club in the world. Help support this great podcast. Check out our website, americanreddevils.com. Great blog content. Alex leading the charge. Tell us about iTunes reviews.
iTunes reviews and 5-star reviews of the American Devils podcast. Wherever you listen, it's a great way to support the pod. It helps us get found organically by other top Muppets like yourself. And we're still giving away free merch. Just write a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify and send a screenshot of that review to americanrevils@gmail.com with your mailing address. And I'll personally pick back and ship some free ARD gear. Send it right to your door anywhere in the world, sir. Let's get into that. Not a 5-star performance. Not 3-point performance, but 1-0 against Wolverhampton Wanderers at Old Trafford.
Let's get into that starting 11. We had Onana in net. Mazraoui, Lindelof, Fredrickson, center back pairing. Welcome in Tyler Fredrickson from the academy. We had Harry Amos at left wing back. Eriksson, Ugarte midfield. Dogu on the right. Garnacho, Menu, and Hojlund. Menu gets in at 10. What'd you make of this 11?
I think given the brief was we needed to rotate. I think this was kind of the right mixture of rotation without overdoing it, right? Like Hojlund, you're not going to play anyone else than Hojlund because you got to will him into a goal. Fredrickson, it's good to see him get a turn, at the wheel. Amos gets a full start. Dogu gets over the right. That was going to be interesting. I liked Eriksson with Ugarte. It always makes me nervous to see Lindelof in that back. And I was not pumped about seeing Maz playing again. I feel like he's been playing so many minutes. But otherwise, we needed to rotate. Manu played 10 in the academy. He's looked dangerous in the box. He's always looked dangerous in the box on Thursday. So I was cool with it. What did you think when you saw the starting 11, sir?
I liked Eriksson. Dogu on the right. We saw that on his first game. And then having Amos come in on the left side was interesting. Manu back is huge. I feel like another theme of this game is, oh my God, we have half-decent players that have been out that are coming back. Mason Mount actually looks like a player. Kobe Manu looks like he has his old dog back. I mean, like he came out whimpering post Euros, wasn't himself. Now I feel like the old Kobe's
came back with a haircut, dude.
And he means business, especially with that goal against Lyon. So I feel like we're getting the old Kobe Manu. He's got more edge, got a point to prove, and I feel like that is somebody who can shine big for us in the Europa League. So the fact that we're getting some big dogs like Mount, Manu, and then hopefully Ahmad eventually, if we get to maybe a final, I think that's really the encouraging sign for United, despite the fact that our league form is absolutely atrocious. So let's get into the first half here. Break it down.
United in the first half, they come out decently hot as well. We didn't create a tremendous amount throughout the whole 45 minutes. We did control the game well, and we limited Wolves. The notable chances came at the end of the first half, 34th minute. Eriksson had a nice free kick that stung the hands of the Wolves keeper. And then Manu, with a decent chance in the box, he pulled it wide there. But there were some better chances that didn't really lead to full-time chances late in this first half that were actually Dogu balls. Nice balls from the right side with these whip balls in. And Hojlund either making the wrong run, not knowing where to be with the run, or just completely getting it wrong. And he just looks like a fish out of water at this point, like just completely lost. And, if you didn't have just Cheeto Obi, who's also just like a kid who you don't want to ruin because you just bought him. You don't want to ruin him. He's rough around the edges. He needs a bench for a long time at this point. And it's a shame to see. But they go in like we limited them, but we weren't creating a ton. I don't think we created a ton until Bruno came on in the second half. But it was like, hey, we didn't get scored on. And we weren't bleeding chances either.
No, and I saw like both wing backs were getting forward. I felt like, I was controlling the ball. I felt like the back three was working against Wolves. They had trouble playing it out against us. We were getting the pressure on them like you would expect us to see. So I felt like the Amorim system, despite all the rotation, was working. And I thought Eriksen did very well in the midfield too with Ugarte. And, when Eriksen has a good day, Manchester United most likely will have a good day. Second half, United can't finish at all still. But Bruno comes on with the low and Mount for Mainu, Dogu, and Ugarte. I felt like this made sense because Mainu is just getting up to fitness. But once Bruno came on, things changed. 63rd minute, Garnacho with a great cutting pass. This is the one to Hojlund who must score but doesn't. Also, Hojlund had another great chance where 1v1, he beat his man and he was like steamrolling towards the goal. He had Dogu open on the right side of the pitch. I knew as soon as that set up on the breakaway that he would be thinking, taking it on its own. A thirsty, desperate striker is going to be selfish. I do not fault him for not passing that ball to Dogu, but he had to do better than he did because, again, once it fizzled out, and that's where, the manager will eventually comment on him. 70th minute sub Cheeto for Hojlund. He comes off the field, getting another chance, but not coming good. 73rd, great chance for Bruno, but he's behind, flubs it wide. 77th minute, this is where we give up a sloppy free kick. Wolves would get their goal.
It's a free kick. Did his hit goalwards? Oh, what a brilliant free kick. People standing.
Look, could Onana have done better there? Sure. Is he De Gea? No. So, he just doesn't have that spring. When you see him diving, I feel like that's something. He's not a shot stopper, but he's supposed to be like world-class playing out the back, right? That's kind of the trade-off you have for that type of keeper.
It's a really good free kick. I think that's hard to save. I think most goalkeepers have a difficult time saving that. We don't, I know the De Gea thing, but yeah, this is their first shot on the target. That's a pretty tough free kick to save.
He was close. He was actually close. I feel like a taller, springier keeper could get a hand there. I felt like we've seen De Gea get a hand on that, like Mata from Chelsea. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I didn't think it was that good of a free kick where it was not savable. It's not worth giving Onana stick for at all, but like a better shot stopper could get there. That was my gut.
I mean, he's clearly not a world-class shot keeper. But, yep. So United didn't do themselves any favor, right? First chance for Wolves. That's actually their first shot on target. But we did have some chances late in the first half, in the second half, trying to get that equalizer. Most notably, 83rd minute, great chance for Mount. After a great move and pass by Garnacho once again, he looked really good. He was cutting in all over the place. And Mount, this is a big chance. Mount has to be doing better. I don't think he is the target here, but he's getting into form. He gets more leeway than Hojlund gets. But United just toothless a little bit. We created chances. They get one. They score. Free kick. Nice free kick of that. But that's it. United lose 1-0 to Wolves. Even on them with points. We're safe from relegation, like John mentioned at the lead-in, because Ipswich lost. But it doesn't feel any better. Coming off a huge, huge high. That could have been a huge, huge low on Thursday. And you actually play better. I think we definitely played better than Wolves and still getting the loss. That's kind of how this season's been, to be fair. But it still doesn't make it feel any better.
No, we had 60% of the ball at home, 12 shots to their 4, 2 on target to their 2. Like you said, that was the first shot on the free kick, but a great free kick from Wolves. United finish the day. 38 points in 14th. We can't be relegated mathematically, but we are 2 points off of 17th in the league. Now, look, we've seen big teams fall in seasons prior. We've seen Chelsea finish 12th. We've seen other big teams kind of limp down the table. I have never seen a team like Manchester United collapse this far down the table, and short of probably the worst 3 sides promoted ever coming into the league, having the most atrocious seasons, 21, 18, and 11 points respectively, we would seriously be in a relegation fight. So I think we're lucky that this isn't actually like a nervy finish to the season.
Yeah, we don't need. Imagine that. You imagine we had to like grit out. We had to get a point against Bournemouth before a big tie against Lyon. That's not anything we want to be dealing with. We've had enough misery for one season. It's a historically bad season. We'll tell you how bad it is. We've seen it all. We watched every game this season, broke them all down.
No, but this is...
No, it's terrible. It's terrible.
This is like...
I'm 14th place. We're at 38 points. I've never seen us with a 3-handle in April.
Any
the
big
point
team
total
that,
is
like, we've seen
low.
Liverpool fall down the table. We've seen Chelsea fall down the table. And the next year, they're back.
Place.
You know, the next year, they're like... It's 14th and 2 off of 17. We've never seen a big team this far down to the bottom of the barrel. Like, we are literally, like, there is a good chance we finish 17th in the EPL table right now. We're 2 points off of it. This is like,
we had a tough run in the last 5. Sorry, I mean, go for it.
No, but I'm just saying, like, this is the worst season
we need to get
since we got relegated.
So why are we talking about getting relegated? Yeah, it is the worst season, without a doubt.
This is the worst, but, like, I feel like when United was relegated, we didn't have the resources.
Of course we did. It was the 70s.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, that's why this is like so, this state of the league form is just, and then we have a new coach, right? And so when you're thinking, for me is, can we expect to get better next year? Right. That's really the question I have.
We have to get better. We have to get better. He'll get fired, right? Because obviously we have to get better.
We'll be in a relegation fight if we don't.
Like,
and my thing is staying in the league.
If we're in a relegation, kind of where I'm at. Well, it's either this. It's either we get better and we're mid-table or top half a side team. We're not going to be winning the league. We're not going to be competing in the top 4, but like a better team that's competitive. Or if we're in a relegation fight by December, like Ruben Amorim is going to be in trouble. No, and if we don't win the Europa League, we're going to have very little money to spend this summer. So it's going to be a challenge regardless for Ruben Amorim.
Well, maybe there's a better way for me to say it. The measuring stick is the table, and the farther we fall down the table, the realistic gain we can expect next year is going to be shorter, right? You're just not... If you finish 12th, could you finish 5th next year? Sure. If we finish like 16th, 17th, can we finish 10th is the question, right? It's just we're going farther down the ladder. What's a realistic expectation? Like, you can't...
Chelsea are in 5th. They went 12th last season. They spent a lot more money than we will spend, and they probably spent money better. But they did get a bounce. I mean, just like pointing to like last year to this year.
Yeah, but we're 6 off 12th. We're 6. We're closer to 7. It's just kind of
6 points.
Yeah, but those are based on our form. Those are big points, and so like for me, the league, I do feel like we need to write off. But it should be noted that this is a concern for next year. Right? Like, I just don't think, realistically, what can we do in the summer to address? These are systemic problems, right? We're talking 2 managers. Both are here. We're at 14th, 15th in the league. And can we get a whole another 11? The answer is no. So, realistically, next year we have to temper our expectations. I mean, I think we finished, you and me predicted like 7th, 8th this year. We actually said we would do worse this season than last, but... No, none of us saw this coming.
No, nobody saw this coming. Nobody saw the fact that like we were arguably in a relegation fight. If, like you said, the 3 of the worst teams that have made it up, and I think it also speaks to how competitive the EPL is now versus what it was 10 years ago or when we got into the league, where they had these Wiggins that you could just sneeze at, they'd lose 7-0. But it's worrisome. It's worrisome because if we don't finish in if we do not win Europa League, we're gonna have very little money to spend. If we win Europa League, I think this manager and some of the youngsters that he has around, and they can ship some of these bad attitudes and bring in some players that will work under him and score fucking goals, we'll finish safely. I'm not saying we're going to finish the top 4 or even the top 6 or 7, but we'll be safe where it's not going to be like this kind of madness. But like if we do not win Europa League and we have like 50 million to spend, we could be fucked because it's like you can't sell Rashford, you can't sell Anthony, you can't sell Sancho. What do you do? You're like screwed.
Bring him back.
They're going to do that, and guess what? That doesn't work because everyone kept bringing him back, and the guys that got brought back have to be sold.
Harry Maguire striker, Sancho starts every game, sir. That's what it is.
He's not fit enough to start every game. Let's hear from the manager, sir.
Let's hear from the main man, the manager.
He looks concerned.
He looks concerned.
We don't score goals in moments, so we create a lot of chances. We have the game. We control the game. We block some good players from the opponent, and then one set pieces change the game, and that's it. He's really frustrated to end the game like this.
I think it's 15 league defeats now, the first time it's happened since 1990. I suppose, is that a reminder that whatever happens between now and the end of the season, even with Europa League, that it can't change what has to happen to this squad in the summer?
We will address that in the end. Of course, we have a plan, and we talk about that every day. But the season is not over, so let's focus on that.
Ruben, what do you say to the fans who are looking for something positive? Obviously, Thursday was phenomenal, and nobody will forget it. But then when they watch this game, they kind of look at it and think, what do we have that would make a good team?
Yeah, we say to the fans the truth, that we lack a lot of things in our team, that we miss chances, that if we don't score goals, we are not going to win, and we have a lot to do. And to focus on improving the team, and step by step, and understanding the until the end of the league is going to be like this, and then.
AK translation, sir. You have to watch these bums play a little more. This is insane honesty from the manager.
And it's often, I think, bit him in the ass a little bit. He's been super honest since the day he joined last November. I think this is a manager who's more mad at the players than we are, or as mad, because he's like, there's no fucking reason we should be losing this goddamn game. He watched the performance we put out, and the fact that we can't score a goal.
Yeah.
We can't score a goal. We should have had two. A good striker, not to pile on Rasmus, but if you had an in-form, any striker, they could score at least a brace today. Like with one of the headed balls in the first half and the tap-in the second half from Garnacho. It's like, he knows it. He's seen enough football. He's still a young coach, but he's like, there's no fucking reason we should be losing this goddamn game. And you look at that, and you're like, well.
It should have been a draw at worst.
Yeah, 1-1.
To me.
Yeah.
Like, it should have been a draw. Bad foul to give away. But, sir, let's jump into fan questions. Let's see what the ARD community has. At D_Cole18. We are a team without options when plan A doesn't work. I was mad during the Lyon game because Garna couldn't spoon feed a hungry Hojlund 2 to 3 goals. This game, Hojlund's a ghost again. We haven't had one complete game all season where the whole 11 is on the same page. Rest up for Bilbao.
And he got fed today. I mean, he actually got fed. He got it. I thought Amos put in some good opportunities. He showed like very competency. He looks like a good. You could see why he's so highly rated at such a young age. He looks the profile. And then I thought Dogu was very effective cutting in from the right side and putting those really good back post balls that no one's been able to do all season. So maybe he's not used to being fed.
By the way, the Amos and Dogu profile of wingbacks worked today, but it was against a bad Wolves team, right? So, like, obviously better than us, but still a bad team, right? And it was encouraging, but we should just be able to head one of those in. Maybe Magoo for striker. I don't know.
There you go.
Arresting
him, by the way. Arresting him.
I know. At BryGuy666, we just have to get through the season, win Europa League, and try to sign better players. The league now should just be for the youngsters to get minutes. Fuck it. Cheeto should start every league game to finish out the season. Hojlund is truly finished. Look, I totally agree. I think even today we played... It could have been for fitness, playing Bruno or just giving it a shout. I feel like the manager, if he just rotates like all youngsters in, can just say, hey, we're focused on Europa League, on to Cincinnati. And that could, like, I feel like the Hojlund starting today, it's ramping up the pressure on him, right? The manager needs to kind of protect these guys a little bit. I just felt like you could rotate and just say, hey, you know what? We're playing the kids. It's all about Europa League. Big dog's resting up.
But you also want to protect Cheeto. It's like you want to find that line because Hojlund.
If you lose, whatever. It's like,
the
kids.
I get it, but you also don't want Cheeto to go out there and have some bad touches, some bad giveaways, and guess what? Our fans are not like they're not giving anybody
on young
they're
kids.
not. Yes, they do though. They're
not 70 million euro signings. They'll cheer on.
I'm trying to make. They will shit on people. They'll shit on whoever has a bad day, depending on how bad the day is. I know they will not go as hard as they went on Hojlund and how they've been on Hojlund.
It's usually the people we buy.
I'm more concerned about like protecting Cheeto for the future, right? Like, so you should rotate anyway, but at the end of the day, it's
he's not ready for the record.
No, he's not ready. He isn't playing because if he was playing, he'd be playing because Hamas is playing.
No, you can
because Hamas is ready.
There's different
He's not ready.
Like,
He's not physically ready. He doesn't have the speed yet.
There's certain people, and I feel it's just like you can tell him he kind of is like has that deer in the headlights a little bit. Like I think the moment is
Bright
really
lights,
big
baby,
for
the bright
Cheetah.
lights.
Yeah, exactly. The moment is very big for him. You can tell he's like nervy out there. You know, Kobe Manu is just like cool as the other side of the Pelliser, like
Always
ice
was,
cold.
since
Like
day one.
it doesn't matter. Like he's just got it. It's different. Cheetah will get it, but he needs more tempered exposure to the bright lights. I think
the manager sees that. He doesn't want to fuck him up.
Yeah, but then you're just leaving Hojlund out.
Play Harry. I don't know, like
At K. Gel Joel, not shocked that this team found a way to lose, giving away free kicks just outside the box is our specialty. Brutal game to watch. Kudos to the kids. Great debut by Fredrickson and a top match from Amos. I think those are really the glass half full and the glass half empty is just eating that L. Salt, hot sauce, whatever you need to get through.
another competent looking center back. I mean, another young center back from the academy. Looks like, he wasn't tested that much. This wasn't a great Wolves side, and we managed the game well. But another option in line, because we need center backs playing three at the back, and we've had a bad track record buying them by and large, at least before last summer.
At Randy Scrandy L, quote, the league is going to remind us how shit we can be just because we have all of our focus on Europe. It's a rough watch. Better be rewarded for this torture with a trophy in May. The next 4 to 5 months are literally the club's future hanging in the balance. Amorim's too. And this is almost probably why we will not win Europa League, surely,
No
is
way.
because,
Don't count on that.
You got to go through a Spanish side, which we have the worst record against.
Especially in
Europe.
semis. Especially in semifinal.
It is
Sevilla.
atrocious.
That's bad.
It's always the away fixture in Spain. That's really the problem. Bilbao are better than we are.
They are.
We have better players, but there's just a better footballing side. And that's a big task. And Lyon was fun, but I feel like it's going to be a little more business with the teams left in the tournament. If we get to a final against Tottenham, I like our chances. But Bilbao, it's all about Bilbao. And that's probably, if you watch what you're watching with this team, it's probably a little too much that we can handle. We can get lucky. We can have a game. It's a cup competition. But realistically, I feel like that's a bridge too far.
Because they're a good team. At the end of the day, it's like, like you said it best. It's like we have better players. They are a better team. And usually the better team wins. Because if not, we would have been beating some of these teams that we've been losing to in the EPL week in, week out.
At Antwood 1868, another loss after being the better team. Amos and Fredrickson, amazing youth showings. Hojlund is just a pedestrian on the pitch. Look, it's just Wolves. The big headline is can't get relegated, so it doesn't matter. If Ipswich won, that would be actually trouble. So the fact that we can't go down is great. Play the kids, and it's all onto Europa League, sir.
It's all to Europa League. And you know what? It's also great that these teams are so bad because their relegation fate is being set so early. We've got like 5 weeks of season left, and these teams are getting relegated. We've already got 2 down, 1 left to go. It's a brutal EPL these days if you can make it in it. I can't imagine what's going to happen to the next teams that come up this following year. But either way, it's all about Europa League. It's also about seeing like who we got in this squad, right? Like Fredrickson, Amos. You laugh all you want, bro. We still got to watch this.
It's thin.
Hey, Amos looks a player.
No.
I
wasn't laughing at that.
That's the kind of player that might.
The season's been shit.
It's been shit, sir. It's been shit. But we got a semifinal. It's unbelievable. It doesn't feel real because when we talk about Europa League, it feels like one different movie, and then we talk the EPL, we're like, oh, we're in 15th place, 14th place, and we're going to a semifinal. It just doesn't feel like we're talking about the same clubs.
We've won 10. It's like it is brutal.
Worst ever.
It is absolutely like shockingly bad.
Worst in
but
52
never
years.
say die, sir.
52
we
years.
saw it against Lyon. We're not giving up.
Can't believe that.
Got to have hope. That's it. That's the podcast. If you like the American Red Devils, please like, subscribe, comment on YouTube, search us on YouTube if you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, or rate us 5 stars. Wherever you listen, check us out on socials. Like us. That helps a long way. Subscribe, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. Check out our store, americanrevels.store, website, americanrevels.com. Sir, tell them about top 10 downloads the last 7 days.
Number 1, how you doing? Los Angeles, California, Chicago, Illinois, Dublin, Ireland, San Diego, California, Melbourne, Australia, Houston, Texas, New York, Oslo, Norway, Brooklyn, New York, and last but not least, Charlotte, North Carolina. Appreciate all the American Devils listening week in, week out. We got more EPL coming up next weekend. Hopefully we can get a win. Hopefully we can avoid the loss. And then Europa League. It's back to it. Hans and Franz ball. We're playing for our life. I fear for our life. We're going through Spain. God help us.
Bring the glory days again. We're back from the Stretford End. It's in the restaurant.